Have you ever wondered what it's like to step inside a place where the walls whisper secrets of the past, where restless spirits refuse to rest? Today, we're diving into one of Australia's most haunted locations. Prepare yourself for a journey into darkness like no other. One, Monte Cristo Homestead, Junee, New South Wales. They say no one truly leaves Monte Cristo Homestead. Perched on a lonely hill in Junee, New South Wales, this Victorian manor doesn't just whisper its secrets, it screams them. Built in 1885, its grand walls conceal centuries of darkness. Locals swear they've seen the ghost of Mrs. Crawley, the original owner, gliding down the balcony, where she once ruled with iron silence. They say her icy gaze follows you through the halls, watching, always watching. But she's not alone. A stable boy was burned alive here, his screams said to echo through the night. A maid fell, or was pushed, from the upstairs window. And in the attic, a mentally ill boy was kept chained for years. His moans still vibrate in the silence. Lights flicker, doors slam. The air thickens with a cold that claws at your spine. And the worst part? Everyone who spends a night leaves changed. If they leave at all. Monte Cristo isn't just haunted, it's alive, and it's waiting. 2. Old Melbourne Gale, Melbourne, Victoria. By day, it's a museum. By night, it's a prison that never let go of its dead. Old Melbourne Gale, right in the heart of Victoria's capital, once held the worst of the worst. Murderers, thieves, lunatics. Over 130 souls were executed here, and not all of them were guilty. The most famous? Ned Kelly, the outlaw legend. They say his final words still echo beneath the gallows. Such is life. But the chill that crawls down your neck, that's not history. That's something else. Visitors hear footsteps pacing empty cells. They feel cold hands brush their shoulders in the dark. Some even see shadowy figures standing silently, staring from behind rusted bars. One tourist fainted after claiming she saw a noose swinging on its own, right above the trapdoor. No breeze, no movement, just swinging. The jail isn't just a building, it's a cage, and every ghost inside is still serving time. 3. Port Arthur, historic site, Tasmania. Port Arthur looks peaceful now, but that peace is a lie. Beneath its ruined beauty lies centuries of pain. This was no ordinary prison. It was a place where hope went to die. Convicts were sent here to be broken. Silence was enforced. Faces forgotten. Souls shattered. Some say the suffering stained the very ground, and the ground never let go. At night, the air shifts. Shadows gather. Visitors report hearing whispers in the church ruins, voices with no source, calling names that haven't been spoken in centuries. Footsteps follow from behind, but when you turn, there's nothing, only the cold. But the darkest echo came much later, in 1996, when a gunman claimed 35 lives here. Locals say that tragedy awoke something ancient, something angry. The separate prison is the worst. Even the bravest refuse to go in alone. The doors still creak, the walls still remember. And those who stay too long, sometimes, they don't feel alone when they leave. Port Arthur doesn't haunt you, it waits for you to return. 4. Beechworth, Lunatic Asylum, Beechworth, Victoria. Beechworth, Lunatic Asylum, once called Mayday Hills, was a place where the screams were locked away. but never silenced. Over 3,000 patients died within these walls, some from illness, others from cruelty. They say if a woman's husband wanted her committed, all he needed was a signature, and once you entered, you rarely walked out sane or alive. The building groans with secrets, flickering lights, shadowy figures watching from behind shattered windows, doors that open, then slam shut on their own. The ghost of Matron Sharp still walks the halls in her white uniform, cold, stern, and dead. They say she appears near the old surgery room, where patients were cut open without anesthesia, screaming into padded walls, unheard by the world. Then there's the man who vanished during a head count. Days later, his body was found wedged in a ceiling. No one knows how he got there. But at night, footsteps echo above, pacing, pacing, just above your head. Beechworth doesn't ask you to believe. It just dares you to enter. Five, Fremantle Arts Centre, Fremantle, Western Australia. Before it was a gallery, it was a madhouse, and the madness never left. The Fremantle Arts Centre, once known as the Fremantle Lunatic Asylum, was built in the 1860s to house the insane, the unwanted, and the forgotten. But those who suffered here didn't all leave quietly. Staff report cold spots that move like someone walking past. Paintings fall with no wind. Tools vanish, then reappear, exactly where someone swore they looked before. There's a woman in white, seen drifting through the corridors, always silent, always watching. No one knows her name, only that she appears near the basement, where patients were once chained to the walls, screaming in the dark. During renovations, workers heard children laughing behind sealed doors. But when they opened them, nothing. Just cold, empty air. And every so often, late at night, music plays from the old piano. A single note. Then silence. The strings too rusted to move, or so they thought. Fremantle Arts Centre may display beauty now, but beneath it lies torment, echoing forever. Six, North Head. Quarantine Station, Manly, New South Wales. North Head Quarantine Station was never meant to be haunted, but death made other plans. For over 150 years, ships from around the world stopped here when disease broke out on board. Passengers were offloaded, isolated, and many never left alive. More than 500 people died here, victims of plague, smallpox, Spanish flu. Their bodies buried nearby, their spirits left behind. Guests report hearing coughing in empty rooms. Doors rattle violently in locked buildings. And at night, muffled sobbing echoes from the hospital wing, long after the last tour has ended. In the shower block, where people were forcibly disinfected with acid and carbolic soap, the air turns suddenly freezing. Some visitors leave in tears, unable to explain why. And the morgue still smells faintly of decay. The autopsy table remains. So do the shadows. The quarantine station wasn't built for fear, but fear lives here now, waiting behind every door. Seven, Devil's Pool, Babinda, Queensland. They call it Devil's Pool for a reason, and the reason is deadly. Hidden deep in the rainforest near Babinda, Queensland, this serene pool of crystal clear water lures travelers with its beauty. But beneath the surface lies something darker, something that pulls people under, never to return. Since the 1950s, at least 20 people have drowned here, most young men. Locals whisper the legend of Ulana, a heartbroken Aboriginal woman who threw herself into the water after losing her lover. They say her spirit still waits, angry, restless, and unforgiving. Visitors report sudden currents grabbing at their ankles, a chill that spreads through their bones. Some say they hear a woman's voice, soft, weeping, then screaming. One hiker swore he saw a pale hand reach out of the water before vanishing without a ripple. Another felt someone tug his backpack toward the rocks, though no one was near. This place doesn't just take lives, it chooses them. Devil's Pool is silent, still, and always hungry. Eight, Ararat Mental Hospital, Ararat, Victoria. Welcome to Ararat, where over 13,000 souls took their final breath, and many never truly left. This massive asylum in Ararat, Victoria, operated for over a century. It housed the criminally insane, the forgotten, the broken, and the damned. Electroshock, isolation, lobotomies. It was a place of healing by torment. Today, its halls are empty, but never quiet. Tour guides speak of sudden drops in temperature, footsteps echoing in rooms long sealed, and shadows darting across corridors. In the men's ward, people feel an invisible weight pressing on their chest, as if something wants to keep them there. There's a surgeon's ghost, seen in the old operating theater. They say he walks with blood on his coat, head bowed, reliving every cut. And in Ward J, where the most dangerous were kept, the walls seem to breathe. Doors close behind you. And sometimes, they don't open again. Ararat doesn't welcome visitors. It warns them. And still, some don't listen. 9. Bogo Road Gale, Brisbane, Queensland. Bogo Road. Gale wasn't just a prison. It was a place of punishment, despair, and death. Built in the 1880s, this towering fortress in Brisbane once held murderers, thieves, and the wrongly accused. The gallows took dozens of lives. The cells echoed with screams. And now, it echoes with something else. Guards and visitors alike report icy hands grabbing them in cell block D, where the most violent inmates were locked away. Shadows linger in corners. Faces flicker in the windows, even when no one's inside. One story chills the blood: a prisoner who took his life in solitary confinement. Since then, people have heard banging on the door from the inside, desperate, relentless. But when it's opened, silence. The old gallows room is the worst. You walk in and the air turns heavy. Some feel dizzy, others feel watched. Everyone feels unwelcome. Bogo Road didn't just break bodies, it shattered souls, and some are still doing time. 10. Pikton Tunnel, Pikton, New South Wales. Hidden beneath the sleepy town of Pikton lies a tunnel shrouded in darkness and death. Built in the 1860s, the railway tunnel was meant to connect towns, but it became the site of a tragic murder in 1916. A young woman was brutally killed inside, her cries swallowed by the cold stone walls. Locals say her restless spirit haunts the tunnel, appearing as a shadowy figure in white. Visitors report sudden drops in temperature, eerie whispers, and the feeling of being watched, even when they're alone. Some have heard footsteps pacing behind them, only to turn and find nothing but empty darkness. Others say the sound of a woman crying echoes through the tunnel at night, chilling them to their core. No one dares stay long, because Pikton Tunnel isn't just a passage, It's a prison for a restless soul, trapped forever in the shadows. So, would you dare spend a night inside Monte Cristo Homestead, knowing you might never leave the same? If you think you're brave enough, the house is waiting. But remember, some doors, once opened, never close.